a certain limit that you recommend of switching from SCCM to one or the other?
There isn't at this point.
Okay. All right.
So what's the minimum like return on investment? Like if you're just deploying 5 computers, can you still get a benefit out of using MDT?
Yeah, it'll really depend on your environment. There are some scenarios, for instance, in the server space, where you might be reprovisioning your servers multiple times, and you want to make sure that you have the exact same configuration every time. You may only have like 3 to 5, and you want to use MDT because you want to make sure it's exactly the same every time. Or if, for the end users, the client computers, I would typically say it's about 25 or more that people start to see more of a return on their investment. But it really all depends on your business needs and how standardized your environment is.
Right now, I think it would be really fun if we could go around here and you could give us your tips or tricks for your particular area that you can just give as a shout out to people that want to get involved in each of the components. So we'll start down the line here.
I think my favorite tip or trick from the infrastructure planning and design series is that we have a set of guides called selecting guides. So when you look at virtualization, you know that we have like 8 different technologies that you can use to virtualize your environment. And it can be a little intimidating to try and figure out when you should use this one versus that one. I mean, they all, have great purposes or whatnot, but trying to figure out what's the best one for this particular experience. You can use the selecting the right virtualization guide to walk you through that process and decide which one is best for this. And it can make your decision process a lot easier.
Okay.
And I think for the map toolkit, one thing that, and I'm sure there will be not just Microsoft customers, but also consultants out there who like to use this tool for their own customer engagements. I think one thing I've learned from actually the real users of the map is that they pay attention to how to prepare for that remote scanning through WMI, is to make sure that you talk to the infrastructure group and make sure that they made some of the select ports open for the narrow window of scanning, and just make sure that the person you're working with in the IT department are indeed the one who owns the credentials and actually are indeed the administrators of those desktop or servers. Because otherwise, this tool by design is very secure. If you are not the administrators of those machines, it will return with no information. And then you may all of a sudden find out that while most machines don't have any specific data we can analyze, well, chances is because you might be using it the wrong credentials and maybe having different people that using it where the admins could have been involved instead of them. So just make sure you prepare the environment for the scan, make sure you have the right administrator credentials and the right people essentially to do the job.
Is there a quick check in the map toolkit where you can know, oh, hey, this is not the right credentials? Because it's great for some admin guy to tell you that you got the credentials and you roll it out there and oh wait, no, that's not it.
Actually, there's a good point there. So there's a little tool. This is not the map toolkit, but there's another tool that the Windows team has created, the management has created. It's called WebM Test. I think it's WebMTest. It's available to all operating systems. You can punch in WebM Test and actually check your credentials for this specific machine, just to test and whether that works or not. Of course, my ideal case is someday we can actually even embed that into the map toolkit as an easy way to do that. But until then, use it on the side, launch a command line and just run that and test it real quick would save you a lot of time. Because after all, if you think that you can go out for lunch and come back and get reports, and it'll be great if you get everything right. If you don't get everything right, you've wasted that hour, right? So preparation is very, very key to the success of running a good scan.
Okay.
Okay, so it's my turn now.
That is. It's your turn. You're ready. You're ready.
I'm ready. I think the tip or trick that I have, it's not really a tip or trick. It's kind of common knowledge is planning. For a deployment process, you cannot underestimate the importance of planning. In the Microsoft Deployment Toolkit, we provide guidance that goes around the deployment lifecycle in what we call the deployment wheel. And it goes through each area that you need to plan for, from application compatibility and management through user state migration. So how am I going to get my users' data and custom settings from their old machine to their new machine so it's as seamless as possible.
Well, thank you all for your time and help, and thank you to the audience out there for listening.